Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be telling you guys the tea on how I got diagnosed. I am type 1 diabetic, so I'm going to go into how I got diagnosed, how I found out, what my symptoms were, and how I'm living my life right now. And I have to say, like, this was a very hard video to do because I kept telling them, like, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, but I just was always putting it off just because it's none of anybody's business. But honestly, I was always researching YouTube videos about people's diagnosis and how they're dealing with it and how they found out. And I just feel like, why hide my story? And I should be sharing it and letting other people know because it might be helpful. I know a friend of mine, her brother just got diagnosed with diabetes, and because of something I did and posted on social media, she was like, hey, I didn't even know they had that. So it's very nice to be able to help other people. So let me get into the story and let you guys know all about it. Let's start off with the symptoms because I think that's a big part of how I found out I was diagnosed with diabetes. So there's a lot of symptoms to finding out you're diabetic. Well, I didn't even know I was diabetic until I went to the doctors. But these are the symptoms I've had. I was very dehydrated. I literally was drinking a bottle, like a gallon of water. Like, it was huge. Like, at work, people were like, you drink that? And I would be like, yeah, I drink 2 of these a day. And it was massive. It was huge. So I would drink that. I would go to the restroom a lot. I was getting, like, my heart was racing a lot. I was getting lightheaded, very weak. That was like towards the end. The main factor to it all, the thing that I noticed something was off, it was my weight. After like eating protein shakes, that is like a weight gainer, that didn't help. I would eat like a man. I was eating constantly. Honestly, anything to gain weight, I was working out. Nothing would stick to my body. So I was talking to Linda because she works in a hospital, and she was asking nurses and everything, and they said, check your thyroid, run a blood test. So I went to the doctors and I just said, hey, can you run some blood tests? I think it's my thyroid. I don't know what's going on. I haven't gained weight. And mind you, when I was going through all that, my weight was like about 100 to 104 pounds. And that was like middle school for me. Like, I weighed that in middle school. So it was a big, like, difference because the heaviest I've ever been was 125 pounds. So I looked really skinny, and I'll insert some photos here of how like I looked. And I'm not saying skinny's not beautiful, but I didn't look healthy. And looking back at photos, I see it, but I think at the moment I was like, you guys are tripping, because everybody at church would be like, you look really skinny. And in my head I'm like, okay, just leave me alone about it already. So going up to the doctors, I went July 5th. I went July 5th to get my blood work, and I want to say it was like a Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday or Thursday. It was July 5th of 2018. So the doctor called me, I kid you not, at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and she left me a voicemail, and this is the voicemail that she left me.
This message is for Natalie. I'm sorry to call you in the middle of the night. I just got a call from the lab that your glucose level is really high. It's almost 800. So I think that's probably why you're not feeling so well, why you're losing a bunch of weight. So it's a really high level. So I recommend, as soon as you get my message, going over to the emergency room. You might have type 1 diabetes as possible. And that might be why you're losing all this weight.
That was her message to me. And when I woke up, like, mind you, I've already packed. I was already like set. I need to go to work. These are the things I need to hit. These are the things I need to do before I leave, and like make sure my team is prepared. Woke up, didn't mind anything. I just got ready for work. I went into the beauty room, got ready. Linda woke up, and we always say good morning to each other. And I said, hey, the doctor called me back. She said I might be type 1 diabetic. Instantly, Linda started crying. And I'm like, why are you crying? She goes, why are you not crying? I didn't know what type 1 diabetic was. I don't think a lot of people understand it, or what diabetes in general is. So I didn't really like understand it. And at the time, I really had a horrible relationship with my boss. So I said, no way, I need to go into work. I need to finish what I have to do, and then I'll go to the emergency room. So I was going totally against doctor's orders. Literally, Linda was like, there's no way you could go to work. You need to call your boss. You need to explain to him what happened. I called him, he didn't answer, so I texted him saying, this is what happened. I need to go to the emergency room. I went to the hospital, told my family, like, hey, I'm gonna go to the emergency room. My doctor called me regarding my weight, because even my mom was like, I need to take you to the doctors because something is wrong. You don't look healthy, and now we just need to go to the doctors and figure it out. So I called my parents, called my siblings, and then I called Cam, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to the emergency room. I don't know what's going on. Linda obviously came with me. Thank God. She had a wedding that day, and she missed it to come to the hospital. What a good friend. So we went to the hospital, and I like literally signed in because you have to say what's wrong with you, your name, and whatnot. And I said, oh, my doctor called me. She said my glucose might be 800, and she goes, there's no way. There's no way your glucose is 800. And I was like, well, that's what she said. Maybe she meant something else. I don't really know, but this is what I heard. And they took my blood sugar, and it was like, I want to say like a 7 or a 6. Got admitted. Well, so I did all the paperwork. They took my blood, and my family got there. My dad got there, and while I was waiting for them, Linda and I were looking through everything and researching, and I like noticed the biggest thing was your diet. Your diet had to change, and just think about it. I had like a couple months of me eating like a man, eating whatever I wanted and not gaining weight. Now going to, you can't have this, and you now researching, you can have it with the proper medicine. The moment my dad hugged me is the moment that I broke down. I was just like, oh my God, I can't have this stuff. My life is gonna change. I don't know what to do. Nobody in my family has this. What am I supposed to do? And am I still allowed to go to Mexico? So, my dad obviously, they called my name. My dad came with me, obviously, inside. Cam came with me, and then I just told Linda, my brother and sister, you know, you don't have to stay here. Thank you for coming. I don't know how long I'll be here. Go home. So got there, and the doctor was like, you need to be admitted. And I was like, no way, I'm not gonna get admitted. How long is that gonna take? I have a trip to go to. And she was like, where are you going? And I said, I'm going to Mexico. She said, I highly don't recommend that. What do I need to know to avoid? What don't I do? And she was just like, just don't do this, don't do that. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So all that into consideration, I finally went on my trip. Obviously there was a lot to take in, and I was just very nervous, and came back. And literally when I came back from Mexico, I got to work, and I was sick like a dog. Not like sick because of my diabetes, but just sick as in I had a cold. My nose was running. I just was not feeling well whatsoever. So my boss was like, hey, maybe you should go to urgent care. Like you said, you might be diabetic. Who knows? Just be careful. So instead of going to the hospital that I went to the first time, I went to the hospital that I actually liked and I was born in, and I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna go here. So I went there. They took my sugar, and that was at 500 as well. I finally got admitted, and I was in the hospital, I want to say, for 2 days, a day and a half. I got admitted, and I slept over in the morning. Yeah, I want to say like 2 days I was in the hospital. Best hospital ever. I loved it. I was taken care of very well. But that's when they like taught me everything. They went, it was very like hard. If I honestly, if I didn't have Cam there, I wouldn't have understood everything, because you have to count your carbs, and he is very fit and healthy. So it was nice to have somebody that did know what was happening. But they go over everything, as in like what to eat, how many things to eat, like slices of bread, how many carbs, how to count the carbs, how much insulin. Because at the moment I was taking Novolog and Humalog, and those are the Humalog is your long lasting insulin, and then your Novolog is your fast reacting insulin. So I was taking the Humalog in the morning, then I was taking Novolog breakfast, Novolog lunch, Novolog dinner. So I was taking 4 shots a day, and honestly that was so hard. I had a coworker, Kendra, just tell me like, hey, my dad has diabetes, and I was telling her like, I just don't want to do it anymore, like I'm just tired. She goes, do you want to die? And I said no. And don't get me wrong, in the beginning of everything, I was at that point, I was just like, I can't do this no more. I just want to die. Like, this is too much. It's too hard. Like, there's no way. Like, I don't know why God gave me this, but I can't do it no more. Like, and it was very hard for Cam and I. But leading on to those moments, I was just like, okay, God gave me this. I have to fight. I have to figure it out, and I'm just gonna roll with the punches. So that happened, and then I want to say closer to like December, I asked my parents to buy me an insulin pump. I said, hey, I don't need anything for Christmas. This is what I really want. It's an insulin pump. I go through electronic pump. It's a 670G pump, and honestly, in the beginning, I was so against it. I was like, there's no way you're putting me attached to something 24/7. I am not an old lady. I want to look as normal as possible. No, thank you. Instantly, the moment I got onto the pump, oh my god, oh my god, it was a lifesaver. I couldn't believe I went against doctor's orders from the get-go. I was just, it's the easiest thing ever. So what you do is, I have two things attached to me. I have this attached to me. This is my Freestyle Libre. This counts, not counts, but I have a little sensor on my phone. I scan it and it tells me my blood sugar. So instead of pricking my finger, I do this because anything to avoid poking, anything like that, I don't want to do it. So I have that, and then I have my pump. This is my pump, and obviously you can see the wire, so it's attached to me. I always attach it to my hip, so it's very discreet. I used to do it on my stomach, but I like crop tops and I don't want anybody to see it. So I have my pump. So the way you do it is you scan your sugar. So I put into the machine, this is my sugar, and then underneath it says carbs. So I'm gonna say let's say I'm eating a bag of hot Cheetos. There's 15 grams, literally there's 15 grams in a bag of hot Cheetos. So then I put, my sugar is 140 and I'm eating 15 grams of carbs, and then I click enter, and then it tells me how much I'm gonna get of insulin. Boom. Easy, right? So I started being on my pump, and I noticed my weight gaining, and the doctor said you're gonna see it come back, you're gonna look normal, you look fuller, and then you just gotta watch what you eat because obviously it's gonna stick like glue. And I went from 104 pounds to 145 pounds. I'm the thickest I've ever been, so it's really nice. Like, it's not more of like, oh, I'm big, more of like I'm healthy and I'm okay with where I'm at, and I'm okay with what I see. So, you know, going to the gym is my best friend. So that is pretty much it. You know, every day is it's a good day. Yeah, there's struggles and some days where I'm just like, oh, I wish I could wear a bathing suit without wearing this pump, but it's honestly something I need to survive. There's also like good treats, and honestly the keto diet is very helpful because I know a lot of YouTubers are doing it, and it's honestly like being diabetic. No sugar, no carbs, and healthy foods. That's being diabetic. So if you want any like treats or snacks, I know Katie just made a dessert. It was like whipping cream, but it was sugar free and no carbs, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to try that myself because that looked great, and it's a little snack. So it's all about like what you prefer and what you see and what you find. I'm still obviously addicted to my hot Cheetos, so that's something I have to break, but with all due time, and you know, it takes time, and it's not the end of the world. In the beginning I thought, you know, I'm gonna die and this is not what I want to live with, but you learn to live with it and you learn to grow and accept it. Now I'm okay with showing my sensor. I'm okay with saying this is my pump. A lot of people would ask me like, is that your iPod? Is that a beeper? And I'm like, no, it's actually my insulin pump. Thank you. It's keeping me alive. So it's just a little machine. I think it's pretty cool, and I think it's a nice like conversation starter. So that's pretty much it. How I got diagnosed, how I found out I had diabetes, and how I'm doing well right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Keep on watching, like, subscribe, and this is really hard for me to do. I hope you guys have a good day. Bye.